sentimental and technical video for the QuasiDB service for the 7th of June 2021, nearly 6:30 UK time. I've got the new Windows update. There was a compatibility issue with my NVIDIA graphics driver. I've uninstalled that now and it seems to be fine. So just in case you've got like an NVIDIA card, it might have some issues with the Windows update, and now I've uninstalled it and it's fine. It's got this new sort of news feed thing. But I thought I'd just switch it up a little bit just to show you the FXCM trading station. So this is your dynamic movement. Don't forget this is free. And it looks like we're going to get some kind of crossover on the MACD, on the EURUSD. We know that Dixie has been quite sideways over Asia. So maybe we might see some movement. It is actually a buy, and they shorted it in a big way. So you know, if it falls, these guys are going to get paid. But technically, we might be having like a little crossover there potentially. And just a look at the SSI snapshot. So you can see the retail guys are shorting anything that's green, and they're long anything that's red. So they're long dollar yen, dollar Swiss, dollar CAD. And it looks like the euro pound might switch over. So if it does, that'd be interesting. And there's gold, just out of interest. So I'll go to the SLCs. I might as well start with gold because we can see the stop loss clusters, like the liquidity targets, 1879 and 1900. And we are a sell. They shorted it, so that could be bullish on the dynamic. So there's a mismatch between the two. There is monthly pivot, and we had a nice healthy bounce of monthly pivot. So assuming we hold above, then you know we could do well, even though it is a sell. But it has been a sell for a while, and yet the retail guys got paid. So we can maybe overlook the sentiment on this. It's probably more fundamentally driven. However, if the Dixie does gain traction, this is obviously going to impact gold quite a bit. So do keep an eye on the EURUSD. That's a good indication. If you haven't got access to a Dixie chart, just look at the EURUSD because this is a heavy weighted component in the dollar index. And that's the level of interest for me, is your monthly pivot at 12159. And I think we're going to break below, and that could be quite potentially bullish for the Dixie. We're bullish Gartley for EURUSD. So assuming that we don't break below 12093, then we'll still be bullish. So we can come down a little bit and retrace, and we can potentially bounce maybe off this pitchfork median line. But if we go below that, then you know we'll invalidate this the sequence. So I might as well do the SLCs for this while I'm here. 12186, 12155. The one above is larger, and we have got monthly pivot support. If we go below, you know, we could be potentially quite bearish. They sold it there, just like you saw in the FXCM, in a big way, and so price shot up, and so that's how that works. Let's start with AJ. It's big moves, really massive movement. Let's go to AJ. All right, where are we? Okay, so we had some news from the Bank of Japan. They're looking at some sort of weaker growth and downgrades and things like that, which sort of like made me raise my eyebrow a little bit when I read it. So it could be impacting yen and maybe making yen a bit stronger, because it tells me that we could be potentially a bit risk off if the Bank of Japan are sort of making their statements. So your monthly pivot is there, 84.81, and we are below. So technically we know we are a sell. SLC is 85 and 83.9, and you know we are a buy, but technically we're a sell, so there's a mismatch. AU, there's that big movement, 77.55, 75.69, bullish free drives, so that's quite strong, and that will invalidate if we go below 76.04, so that's miles away. Yeah, it looks like it's going sideways currently, and we are a buy, and that's that. So if it fell, these guys would get paid, which would be unusual. EUROAUD, the level of interest there, it could be the shift channel low, So it had some respects there, kind of, and there. Probably 15751 resistance. SOC is far, cool, at 159 and 15670. We're a sell, which matches the the harmonic and that movement as well. That's the dynamic shifting tells us that it's a sell because they went long, but we've got monthly pivot support. So below that, it could be a good short. 15683. Covered this. It's looking quite heavy, and like I said on that very beginning, we've got that oscillator crossover on the MACD. So technically, it could be a good short, but we want it below monthly pivot. GU. I did that before. Okay, so 142 and 14065. There's a monthly pivot there. So we're bullish above. We're a buy. Looks like they're going ever so slightly long. They're trying to buy this dip there, that little movement. So be careful. Also note the pound bubble location as well. It's a strong sell. Okay, and you 72.29 and 71.06. This was a good spot from Andre on our video yesterday, and how this coincided with an order block. I think it might have been on the H4, but it does coincide with that ABCD as well. There was some order block, then it just happened to just like bounce off that, so it was a good spot. But yeah, there's monthly pivot there, so perhaps entertain a long above the monthly pivot. But I'm going to wait for the bubbles for the signal. 72.32, and we're a buy. Euro yen. So this could be moving a bit on that Bank of Japan statement, possibly 133.19. That's your median line, and there's your shift channel bottom. So that's a break of the shift channel, which is technically quite bearish. 132.95, 133.80. There's monthly pivot at 132.99. We're a buy, and they're going long. So that's actually quite bearish. And they started to go long here, there. I don't know if you remember my video from last week, but I was saying how they sort of started to go long around about here, and that they're continuing. So that's interesting. Pound yen, 156.10 and 154.70. We're a buy sideways. Dollar yen. There's monthly pivot at 109.36. SOC above is 109.66, 109.3. We are a sell, and they went long, so that sort of agrees with the static. So they went long, so it makes it a sell. But we've got this diagonal support. It's from January. So it's quite old. Yeah, the 6th of January. So we've got that technical support, and we've got monthly pivot. Dollar CAD, we've got the Bank of Canada on Wednesday, so that's going to be a massive mover. So I wouldn't trade this pair if you can avoid it. That would be good. It's probably going to move hundreds and hundreds of pips this week on that press conference. 121.40 and 120.60 were a sell, and they've gone long, so that agrees with the static. Yeah, just be careful with this one. It's going to rubber band, I think. Dollar Swiss, big Gartley pattern. It's huge, and that'll hold true unless we go above that. So really, the stop loss cluster above 90.55. If we go above, we'll invalidate this sequence. So I don't think we'll come up there, but who's to say? We are a sell, and they went long. So if it goes up, these guys are going to get paid. And 80% of the time retail guys lose money, so it's unlikely that's going to happen. But it's all down to maybe the EURUSD. I think if that falls, it's going to really revitalize the Dixie. So yeah, the SLC is 89.75. I will show you the euro pound, and if you remember my analysis and how we were going to go and follow this channel, it looks like it's doing it pretty spot on, which is really freaky. 86.02. And last but not least, Bitcoin. And I'm not going to release my hedge until we break and pitchfork. So 36,484 is a level of interest, but I want it above the 38.2 before I release my hedge. So that's criteria 1. That's criteria 2. I'm going to wrap up now. Hopefully the video was helpful. I'm going to be going catching some Z's now. So I've stayed awake, and it's a bit silly really, but at least it's chilled out. Watching the Asia market, it's definitely easier to trade, that's for sure. This is a bullish 4-point continuation, by the way, which is an unusual shape, so not quite sure what to say about that. At least it's not bearish, I suppose. And wait for the 38.2 at 40,271. Once it gets above, then I'm going to get out, and it should be all good. So have a good day, you guys. If I see any signals, I'll let you know, but we have to wait for the bubbles to deviate over time. So we'll see what happens. Have a good day. I'll speak to you soon.